Hello everybody, I'm Miss Jessica. Normally I'm at EVPL McCullough, but I'm so excited that I get to continue our chapter book story time right here from my living room. As always, we like to be comfortable while we're reading, so I've got my blanket and my water nearby, and I've already got a visitor. She's kind of out of frame of the camera. Oh, here she comes. But we've got Harper here because she likes to, oh, see, there she is. She likes to listen to our story while we're doing this, and who knows, maybe we'll get some other visitors as we go along. So we have been reading Escape from Mr. Lemoncello's Library by Chris Grabenstein, and we're finally to kind of the exciting part where they're inside the library for the lock-in and they are just about to start playing their first game. So I don't know about you guys, but I have been dying for them to get to this library because I want to see what it's all about. All right, so chapter 12. Will everybody please line up behind that far desk in the front of the children's room, said Dr. Zinchenko, gesturing toward one of the wooden tables in the outermost ring of the room. How many of you are familiar with Mr. Lemoncello's classic board game? Hurry to the top of the heap. 12 hands shot up. Very good, said Dr. Zinchenko. Overhead, the Wonder Dome dissolved into a gigantic curved heap box top. This will be a live, three-dimensional version of that game. Each of you will be asked a trivia question. If you are able to answer it correctly, you will roll the dice and advance the equivalent number of desks. When you return to the starting point, you will move into the next concentric circle of desks. When you complete that ring, you will move into the next, and so on. If one of you makes it all the way to the desk at the center, you will be declared the winner. But we don't have any dice, said Yasmin Smith-Snyder. Yes, you do. See that smoky glass panel in the center of the desk? It's actually a touchscreen computer currently running Mr. Lemoncello's dice rolling app. Simply swipe and flick your fingers across the glass to toss and tumble the animated dice. Dr. Zinchenko placed a stack of red cards on her desk. She looked like the host of a TV game show. Before we begin, are there any questions? Charles Chillington raised a hand. Yes, Mr. Chillington? What will the winner win? After all, the prize is the most important part of the game. Kyle didn't totally agree, but he was too excited about playing the game to say anything. Tonight's first prize, said Dr. Zinchenko, is this golden key, granting the winner access to Mr. Lemoncello's private and very posh bedroom suite up on the library's third floor. Instead of spending the night on the floor in a sleeping bag, you will be relaxing in luxury with a feather bed, a 72-inch television screen, and a state-of-the-art gaming console. Okay, Kyle was definitely interested in that particular prize. Judging from the wide-open stares and choruses of ooh and wow all around him, so was everybody else. Dr. Zinchenko flipped over the first question card. What Major League pitcher was the last to win at least 30 games in one season? 6 players got it wrong before Kyle got it right. Danny McClay. Correct. He swiped the glass panel, rolled a 10, and advanced 10 desks around the room. What United States Navy ship was once captured by the North Koreans? Miguel nailed that one. The USS Pueblo. He flew 12 spaces around the room. What did Apollo 8 accomplish that had never been done before? Akemi, Andrew Peckelman, and Kayla Corson struck out on that one, but Charles Chillington knew the answer. It was the first spacecraft to orbit the moon. Correct. Chillington rolled a 5, landing him in last place. Kyle's next question was tougher. Who is famous for saying, "Book 'em, Dano"? The guy on Hawaii 5-0? Please be more specific. The one with the shiny hair? Jack Lord? That is correct. Kyle breathed a sigh of relief. Whew, thank goodness he and his dad sometimes watched reruns of old TV shows from the 1960s. When he flipped the computerized dice, his luck hit a brick wall. He rolled snake eyes and moved 2 measly desks. Meanwhile, Miguel went down with a question about Barbra Streisand. Kyle wasn't exactly sure who she was, and Charles Chillington surged ahead with a correct answer about the Beatles. Hey Jude, and a double sixes roll. As the game went on, Kyle and Chillington, the only players still standing, kept answering correctly and moving around the room until they were both seated at a desk in the innermost ring, only 6 spaces away from Dr. Zinchenko's desk and victory. Kyle was seriously glad he and his mom had played so many games of Trivial Pursuit with the original extremely old cards. Kyle, here is your next question. What song in the movie Dr. Dolittle won an Academy Award? Kyle squinted. He had that movie, an old VHS cassette tape that his mom had bought at a garage sale. Too bad they didn't have a VCR to watch it on. But even though he'd never seen the movie, he had read the front and back of the box a couple of times. Talk to the Animals? Correct. He started breathing again. Roll the dice, please, Mr. Keeley. Kyle did. Another pair of ones. He moved up 2 spaces. Now he was only 4 desks away from winning. Mr. Chillington, here is your next question. Who was elected president in 1968? I believe that was Richard Milhouse Nixon. You are also correct. Chillington didn't wait for the librarian to tell him to roll the dice. He flicked his fingers across the glass pad. Yes! Double 6s again! He moved around the last ring of desks, tapping their tops, counting them off, even though everybody knew his 12 was more than good enough to carry him to the finish line. Congratulations, Mr. Chillington, Dr. Zinchenko said as she handed him the key to the private suite. You are this evening's first winner. Thank you, Dr. Zinchenko. I am truly and sincerely honored. Congratulations, Charles, said Kyle. Way to win. Get used to it, Keeley, he answered in a voice only the other kids could hear. I'm Chillington. We never lose. Chapter 13. What happened next was extremely cool. A holographic image of a second librarian appeared beside Dr. Zinchenko at the center desk. She looked a little like Princess Leia being beamed out of R2-D2 in Star Wars. Except she had an old-fashioned bubble-top hairdo, cat's eye glasses, and a tweed jacket with patches on the elbows. Here to present our official library lock-in rules, said Dr. Zinchenko, is Mrs. Gail Tobin, head librarian of the Alexandriaville Public Library back in the 1960s when Mr. Lemoncello was your age. Overhead, the Wonder Dome had shifted back to its 10 Dewey Decimal displays. How old is she? Asked Sean Keegan. She'd be 110 if she were still alive. But she's dead and working here? Let's just say that her spirit lives on in the hologram. Mrs. Tobin, the one who helped Mr. Lemoncello so much, Kyle whispered to Akimi when he was a kid. I know. Her hair looks like a beehive. Kyle shrugged. From what I've seen on TV, the 1960s were generally weird. Welcome, children, to the Library of the Future, said the flickering projection. Dr. Zinchenko will now pass out Lemoncello Library floor plans, your map and guide to all that this extraordinary building has to offer. Your new library cards will grant you access to all rooms except the Master Control Center, the red door you passed on your way in, and of course Mr. Lemoncello's private suite on the 3rd floor. Charles Chillington dangled his golden key in front of his face. I believe you need this to enter that. Mrs. Tobin ignored him. She was a hologram. That made it easier. Security personnel are on duty 24 hours a day, she continued. During your stay, all of your actions will be recorded by video cameras, as outlined in the consent agreements you and your parents signed earlier. Are we really going to be on a reality TV show? Asked Haley, smiling at a tiny camera with a blinking red light. It is a distinct possibility, said Dr. Zinchenko. I like television, said the ghostly image of Mrs. Tobin. Rowan and Martin's Laugh-In was my favorite program. Returning to the rules. The use of personal electronic devices is strictly prohibited at all times during the lock-in. The security guard Clarence and a guy who looked like his identical twin brother entered the rotunda, each of them carrying an aluminum attaché case. Kindly deposit all cell phones, iPods, and iPads in the receptacle provided by our security guards. Clarence and Clement, your devices will be safely stored for the duration of your stay and will be returned to you at the conclusion of our activities. Also, you may use the desktop pad computers in this room to comb through our card catalog, to conduct internet research, However, these devices cannot send or receive email or text messages whenever those might be. Remember, I retired in 1973. We still used carbon paper. And now Dr. Zinchenko will walk you through the floor plan. Everybody unfolded their map pamphlets. As you can see, said Dr. Zinchenko, fiction titles are located here in the reading room. The children's enrichment room with soundproof walls is over there. 2 fully equipped community meeting rooms, as well as the Book Nook Cafe behind those windows where the curtains are drawn, are also located on this floor. Upstairs on 2, you will find 10 numbered doors, each leading into a chamber filled with books, information, and, well, displays related to its corresponding Dewey Decimal Category. Kyle raised his hand. Yes? Where's the Electronic Learning Center? Dr. Zinchenko grinned. Upstairs on the 3rd floor, where you will also find the boardroom, the art and artifacts room, an IMAX theater, and Lemoncello Abelia room. Can we go upstairs and play? Asked Bridget Wadge. I want to try out the new space shuttle simulator. Oh, here comes Luna. I want to learn how to drive a car, said Sean Keegan. A race car. I want to conquer the world with Alexander the Great, said Yasmin Smith-Snyder. Apparently, everybody was doing what Kyle had already done, checking out the available educational gameware listed on the back of the floor plan. Early access to the Electronic Learning Center will be tonight's second prize, said Dr. Zinchenko. To win it, you must use the library's resources to find dessert, which we have hidden somewhere in this building. Whoever does the research and locates the goodies first will also be the first one allowed into the Electronic Learning Center. So, use your wits and use your library. Go find dessert. Everybody raced around the room and sat down at the separate desks to start tapping out on the glass computer pads. Well, everybody except Sierra Russell. She spent like 2 seconds swiping her fingers across the screen, wrote something down with a stubby pencil and on a slip of paper, then wandered off to inspect the 3-story tall curved bookcases lining the walls at the back half of the rotunda. Kyle watched as she stepped onto a slightly elevated platform with handles like you'd seen on your grandmother's walker. It even had a basket attached to the front. Dr. Zinchenko? Yes, Miss Russell. Is this safe? Because the book I want is all the way up at the top. Yes, just make sure your feet are securely locked in. Sierra wiggled her leg. Kyle heard a metallic snap. It's like a ski boot, said Sierra. That's right. Now use the keypad to tell the hover ladder the call number of the book you are interested in and hang on tight. Sierra consulted this slip of paper and tapped some keys. The bottom of that platform you are standing on is a magnet, said Dr. Zinchenko. There are ribbons of electromagnetic material in the lining of the bookcases. The strength of those magnets will be modulated by our maglev computer based on the call number you input. 2 seconds later, Sierra Russell was floating in the air, drifting up and to the left. It was awesome. The hover ladder must use advanced magnetic levitational technology, said Miguel, seated at the desk to Kyle's right, just like the maglev bullet trains in Japan. Cool, mumbled Kyle. And for the first time in his life, Kyle Keeley wanted to check out a library book more than anything in the world. All right, we're going to stop there for today. That was the end of chapter 13. And I'm very interested to see what other games they're going to be playing in this library. Well, don't forget, while we can't have you visit us at the library, you can still visit us through our awesome electronic resources that we have, or digital resources. So we have Libby by Overdrive, and then we also have our Hoopla app. Both of those have ebooks and e-audio books, but Hoopla also has TV shows and movies and music. So you'll have plenty to do and really fun stuff to keep you busy while you're at home. And hopefully I'll see you guys again soon and we can keep reading our book. And also one more thing, don't forget to go to evpl.org for all of our resources and keep checking back on our Facebook page to see what other fun things we have there for you to do. So I will see you soon and thank you for listening. Bye.